Hello and welcome everyone to CDU's magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDUs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDU magazine. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Robin Sutara, who is the Field Chief Data Strategy Officer at Databricks. Welcome, Robin.
Thank you, Robert. So lovely to be here.
I'm wondering, and I know that you're in large, highly regulated industries as well. You're helping those customers solve their particular issues. But when it comes to security and compliance, can you update us? How does Databricks solve those security and privacy issues?
Yeah, I think one is like helping to break down the silos, right? The more siloed your data is across the organization, the more security complexity that you're introducing to your organization. And so we really think, we can help you minimize the risk by thinking about how do you minimize the number of silos where you're managing across separate platforms,
Right.
separate infrastructures being able to manage. But we're also taking a more proactive approach. So recently, the teams have created what we call the Databricks AI security framework. Version 2 was just released a few months ago, which is essentially 66 factors that the top organizations look at that are actually able to execute against their AI strategy and start to roll out into production. What are some factors that they should consider around AI security to make sure that they're minimizing their risk while still allowing for innovation? And so these in-depth controls actually allow them to simplify their AI risk management and get alignment across the organization on the things that matter. So, for example, one of the top 20 US banks is actually using this framework to roll out internal guidelines around AI security and AI modeling so that everyone is following the same frameworks, the same standards, and understands the risks that are relevant for the
Right.
bank. And as a result, they've actually seen a 66% decrease in the amount of time to do things like vendor due diligence reviews, because now they're actually able to automate some of it because they got alignment on what the security and criteria were. And they're using humans to just solve for that last 33% for the last mile. And so we're definitely seeing organizations leverage frameworks like that are focused on security and helping organizations figure out what should that balance be, what's right for us, and maybe that will change over time. But right
Right.
now, here's 66 criteria that you can look at and determine which are the ones that are super important to your organization, whether you're highly regulated or not as much so in another industry. We want to make sure that everybody has an initial framework that they can start with, and so it's a fabulous start for any organization thinking about those things.
It's great that you actually have a framework that will actually be a jump start to enable your clients to start from security and privacy concerns. Another area that is integral to many organizations is data integration. Uh, would you be able to kind of provide an update as to how Databricks tools enable businesses to extract the relevant insight from these multiple different data sources that you now brought into this one platform?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I do think like the pace of innovation at Databricks has just been phenomenal. And one area that they announced where they were going to think about disruption last year was really around the data engineering components for that
Right.
most organizations. How do you actually think about data ingestion? How do you think about building out the pipelines? How do you land it right, and then be able to orchestrate all of that? And so last year we announced LakeFlow, which is essentially a way for us to unify and simplify all aspects of data engineering, from
Right.
ingestion to transformation to orchestration. LakeFlow Connect is the first of the three components of LakeFlow that actually helps solve for that ingestion problem. How do you pull from every data source?
Right.
So we have, for example, connectors with Salesforce and Workday to help organizations with that. But really, it's how do you help seamlessly solve for that ingestion and then work with DLT for transformation and Databricks workflows for the orchestration. And so I think those connectors are the first step that we're seeing that lots of organizations are taking advantage of.
The fact that you have that identified and the fact that you're releasing those connectors and the fact that you can connect to it is a great step forward for that integration. I wonder, just in the last couple of minutes, as you as the visionaries within the organization look ahead, what do you see as from today's point of view? Because tomorrow it'll change, you understand that. But what do you see as the biggest opportunities and perhaps the biggest challenges in the data space over the next several years? And how do you think Databricks is preparing for them? I know that one of them is the fact that you rebuild and reinnovate every time that you can with new technologies. But I'm wondering what opportunities you see out there and those challenges that Databricks is preparing for.
Yeah, I have this distinct advantage that I get to work with our customers globally to really
Right.
think about how do they take advantage of Databricks and the platform from the technology side, and really help them think about the people and process. And if
Yes.
I think about where the biggest opportunity is, it really is that how do we take democratization to the next level? I think
Right.
natural language and AI, BI, and Genie are the first step in that motion and sort of the effort to go on there. But I think we'll see more and more of that. Agentic systems start to take some of these simple use cases that we're solving with natural language, and now how do we actually help organizations transform the way that they're delivering their own products and services? I remember 10 years ago, I felt like all we were talking about was monetization of data. But
Right.
today, now it's like, really, how do we help organizations think about their own disruption, and sort of what they could uncover if they could really unlock the power of the intellect that exists across their organization. And that means getting rid of some of the tasks that don't necessarily need human in the loop today, so that the organization. And so as I think about change management and getting people prepared for that, and how do we simplify that as much as possible, so that people are doing more of a chat GPT's type of interface that they're familiar with, because almost everybody is using it in
Sure.
their day-to-day
Especially
life
in
in
yeah,
some.
I would agree. Yeah, that we're
Right,
definitely
in
seeing
some
that.
capacity. I mean, I know I say, give me a meal plan that's 1,200 calories with 90 grams of protein, right? Like, everybody's using ChatGPT. Even my grandmother pings me to say, like, how do I use this thing? And so I think the next evolution is really thinking about, people will become so familiar and so comfortable with those types of interfaces. So what's next? Like, how do we get rid of some of the tasks that they have been stuck with for all of this time? That automation, that using agents in a more effective and efficient way, is going to allow them to sort of innovate in a way that an organization just never had the bandwidth to be able to do before. And so now I think what we really think about over the next 5 years is, how do we make sure that we get people comfortable with that? How do we get people comfortable with the fact that change is a daily activity that's going to happen these days in technology and data? And so, how do we get them to embrace that and see it as an opportunity as opposed to a risk for them? And so, I'm super excited to see where that takes us, and what are those big, tough data problems that we're going to be able to solve, because we can simplify some of the other things that we don't necessarily need to leverage people and their brain power on.
Robin, your excitement is infectious. I think that we're all looking forward to how AI and the data intelligent platform from Databricks can actually help automate some of the processes and change our interaction for the better. So that way we can maybe be more productive with our time. So we certainly appreciate you providing your time today. We hope to have you come back, especially in your prior roles of the CDO and knowing what your clients are looking for. We hope to have you back and share your experience on Databricks and the unified data platform and the AI integrations that you're building into it. It seems just a wonderful world that you're creating for your customers out there. Appreciate your time today.
No, thank you so much, Robert. Super exciting to share some of the phenomenal innovation I think that we're doing, but also some of the great innovation that our customers are leveraging our platform with. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you.
You're welcome. And for our listeners, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you.